Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Callista Gingrich, president of Gingrich Productions.
Thank you for that warm welcome. It's great to be back at CPAC. There's a good reason so many conservatives come to Washington each year for this important conference. For 4 decades, CPAC has played a major role in developing ideas and issues for the conservative movement and the American people. This year's conference may be one of the most important because it comes at a time when President Obama's policies are failing at almost every front. Our discussions here about the future of conservatism, the future of the Republican Party, and even more importantly, the future of America are vital and must be based firmly on the key values of American exceptionalism and the founding principles of our Constitution. Every American should understand what makes us unique as a people and a country. Unfortunately today, many of our children are failing to learn the basics about our American history. Instead, many are learning revisionist or politically correct history. As a consequence, many people, young and old, have no idea what it means to be an American. Because of this, I've developed an American history series for children known as the Ellis the Elephant series. If the left fails to accurately teach our children about American history, then we have to step up and get the job done. This October, my time-traveling pachyderm, Ellis the Elephant, is back as he joins Lewis and Clark on their expedition to the Pacific in From Sea to Shining Sea. Newt and I also work to communicate core American values through historical documentary films in collaboration with David Bossie and the team at Citizens United. We're pleased that several of these documentaries have been shown here at CPAC. Newt is currently working on a strategy that will help America break out from the disasters of Obamacare, bureaucratic domination, and economic stagnation. Newt believes we can break out if we embrace exciting innovations that will lead to a better future. He's focused on combining the principles of American exceptionalism with the strengths of modern science and technology. This combination, Newt believes, will once again make us the clear choice for solving America's problems and lead us to a healthy economy, a balanced budget, limited government, better health care, and strong national security. To explain these ideas, please join me in welcoming former Speaker of the House and my husband, Newt Gingrich.
Well, thank you, Callista. I thank all of you, and I congratulate the American Conservative Union on its 50th anniversary. And I congratulate you on a conference that I think may actually have been seen more widely than almost any conference we've had. I've been very impressed with the sheer number of people who have been speaking and the degree to which they're being watched around the country. I came today to reinforce Governor Rick Perry's speech from yesterday, particularly where Rick said, it's time for a little rebellion on the battlefield of ideas. I want to suggest to you that actually it's time for a big rebellion on the battlefield of ideas. And I also came to issue a warning. If our movement is primarily anti-Obama, we will in fact reduce the number of victories we should win this fall. If we spend the next 3 years being primarily anti-Hillary, we will virtually guarantee her election as the first Democrat in almost 70 years to hold the White House for a third term. We must stop being, it's a fact, no Democrat has gotten reelected 3 times in a row since Harry Truman replaced Franklin Delano Roosevelt. And we don't want that to happen. But to make sure that doesn't happen, we must stop being the opposition movement, and we must become the alternative government movement that will help make the life of every American better, so that they understand what we would do that would be right, not just what the left is doing that is wrong. Last year here at CPAC, I talked about Thomas Edison and the light bulb, and the degree to which those technological revolutions of that era, the automobile, the airplane, the refrigerator, the washing machine, radio, all of those things had dramatically improved the lives of the American people and given them dramatically more choices. I think we can break out if we combine American exceptionalism, science and technology, and entrepreneurship, and we understand that we can offer a dramatically better future because we can be in favor of the kind of changes that dramatically improve people's lives. I wrote a book called Breakout that sort of outlines this, and I also now do a weekly podcast and 2 newsletters that are free that you can get at Gingrich Productions, because I really think this synthesis of core values that have made America great with the capabilities of science and technology so that we actually, for example, reduce the cost of Medicare in the future because we solve the challenge of Alzheimer's. We reduce the cost of dealing with children with autism because we solve the challenge of autism. There are 1,000 things going on around the country. There are literally hundreds of thousands of pioneers of the future. All of you can go back home and you'll find people who are developing a better future. And the challenge, the reason it's become so hard, is that we've also grown prison guards of the past. And the prison guards of the past do everything they can to block the development of a better future. So you just saw the mayor of New York do in closing charter schools in a way that clearly hurts Black and Hispanic children because he represents the teachers union who are the biggest prison guards of education, stopping children. If we had had the current model of giant bureaucratic government in the 1840s, the Stagecoach Association would have hired a lobbyist to pass a bill that limited railroads to the speed of a horse on the grounds that anything else would be unfair competition. What I'm trying to do is set up a conversation in America among everybody on our side so that by 2016, Hillary Clinton is the leading prison guard of the past, propping up every failed bureaucratic institution in America. If this is a fight between the future and the past, and we truly represent for the average American a better future, and they truly represent for the average American those forces blocking that future, we will win decisively and we will govern for 2 generations. And in the process, we will restore a healthy American economy. We will dramatically improve the health system. We will accelerate learning in America to an extraordinary degree. And we will regain our national security on a scale that no other country could compete with. But that requires us to be oriented to positive things. One of the keys to this future is a smartphone. How many of you have a smartphone of some kind? Just raise your hand. How many of you no longer, here's a good example. How many of you no longer carry a map in your car? I mean, think about what a revolution it is to look on maps as obsolete because you have some woman telling you where to go. Now, I know a number of you guys had already had that experience earlier. I knew you'd like that. So let me give you an example out of smartphones. The smartphone will be the leading public health device of the 21st century. It'll be the leading learning device It'll be the leading management tool. Congressman Dr. Michael Burgess has a smartphone that has 8 medical applications on it. He can do an electrocardiogram with his smartphone. Now, the Food and Drug Administration, seeing the dramatic rise of applications that improve your health, now wants to take over approving applications for smartphones. I mean, if you want to see a fight where we can be on the side of younger Americans and the left is hopeless, you go out and talk to any college campus and say, how would you like Washington bureaucrats slowing down the number of new applications you can get? Most of them, by the way, free, because the Washington bureaucrats want to control what you have access to. And frankly, I want to commend Senator Deb Fischer and Congresswoman Marsha Blackburn, because they've actually introduced bills in the House and Senate that will block the FDA from stopping smartphone apps. And that's an example of what a breakout party is capable of doing. But I'd urge all of you, go look at the Khan Academy, K-A-H-N, which now has over 10 million visitors a month for free. Go look at Duolingo, which teaches 6 languages for free. Look at the recent article in the Chronicle of Higher Education, which had 40 different applications for education, all of them free. And there's a revolution coming, and we have the opportunity to lead it. It will dramatically shrink the bureaucracies, return power to the American people, increase the quality of your life, and do so in a way that returns us back to much more limited government. What we stand for is an effective, accountable, limited government under the Constitution. And that is a choice we can win. Let me also say that the first great breakout was in North Dakota and was the development of fracking. And the fact is today we've had a revolution in natural gas and oil. We are now once again the largest natural gas producer in the world. And if this president had any sense of seriousness about Russia, he would have already issued an executive order allowing American natural gas to be shipped to Europe. He would already be opening up offshore and federal properties for exploration, and he would explain to Putin that we're going to drive down the price of oil enough that Russia will once again be bankrupted, as it was in the Cold War by Ronald Reagan. And if you look out 5 or 10 years, and that's what strategy is, a poverty-stricken Putin is not a very dangerous Putin. I mean, much of his current power comes from the high price of oil. And so I think we can design strategies that increase American jobs, increase a healthy American economy, weaken Russia, and do so in a way which is totally peaceful and yet stunningly powerful, which is what Reagan was about. He defeated the Soviet Empire without a general war by intelligent, sound strategies. We can break out. I hope all of you will go home and find pioneers you can work with. I hope you will go home and work with your local government, your local school board, develop the new breakthroughs, work with your state legislators. I do think that we have an enormous opportunity to create a better future. But I want to close with one thing which I said last night on Crossfire, because I want to defend the president. I think sometimes we have to be big enough to stand up for him, even if we don't agree with him very often. There are a number of people who have criticized him for going to Key Largo in Florida while there is a crisis underway in Ukraine. Now, I just want you to know, the president spent all of last week proving that he was capable of being ineffective. I believe he can be as ineffective in Key Largo as he was in the White House. So my closing appeal to you is to go back home and say to your friends, stand up for Obama's right to be utterly ineffective wherever he happens to be, and don't expect more than that because you ain't going to get it. Thank you, good luck, and God bless you.